ahead and get the recording started. So welcome everybody to week 2 of 6 Weeks to Success. Yay! Who's excited? Wave. You guys can wave and tell me you're excited. But my name is Dee Weir. I am an advanced director from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Been in the business 16 years, and I'm so excited to partner with all these wonderful leaders in the company to bring you the 6 Weeks to Success. So I'm going to go ahead and I almost hit the end of the meeting. So we're going to go ahead and share my screen so that you all can see everything I need to show you tonight. So this is what welcome to week 2, and you made it to week 2. So how many of you had listened to the video, the call with Joe and Christina? Anybody listen to that? That was your homework from last week. I see some thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we take a few people and just share, take a minute and share something that was an aha moment, something that you learned, something that you want to implement into your parties. Who wants to go first?
I liked in virtual parties, if you mainly do them, to friend everybody from the party. I never thought about doing that before.
Yeah,
I think it'll help.
That's awesome. So, Laura, have you had any parties that you've been able to do that this week?
No, I've just booked a few, so I'm hoping to start doing that.
Okay, awesome. Who else wants to share something they learned from last week's call? Well, we can sit here all night. I like to listen.
This is Julie. I don't think I turned my video, so I'm the Jay Meller.
Okay.
The thing I liked about last week was the falling in love with your products.
Okay.
It sounds obvious. I did listen to some of the calls as well, but I think the one that resonated with me was like, fall in love with your products. What is it that you love about them? Tell other people what you love about them. So I have a show coming up on Friday, and so I've just been practicing voicing how excited I am and how much I use them myself, and that was helpful.
And what was your name again?
Sorry, that's Julie.
Julie. So Julie, what product did you fall in love with this week that you want to talk about? Your party.
I fell in love with and I'm gonna, that's great. I talked a lot about my rock crock because I can put it in the dishwasher, but I also talked about my glazed stoneware because I don't have to scrub it in the sink. I can make a one-pot meal. I can take appetizer and toss it on there and shove it in the oven. It stays warm. If I put cookies on it, it stays cold. I also like the mini $4 nylon spatula because it doesn't scratch anything I use it with, and it makes working in the kitchen a lot easier.
Awesome. Those are great.
Thanks
for sharing those. Anybody else want to share something?
Hey, Dee, this is...
Go ahead, James.
Sorry. I just wanted to share from the call that I listened to that having our actual guest of our parties actually selling the products for us. So if they have a rock crock, instead of you talking about it, you bring them up and actually have them talk about it, how great it is and what they do with it. So therefore they're actually the ones selling to their friends.
Yeah, that's a great tip, because people are going to believe their friends. You know, you're sometimes until you get that barrier down, that wall down, they're looking at you as a salesperson, where their friends are going to be like, yeah, I love it, and so they're going to want what their friends have. So great, that's great. Anybody else? We'll take one more person to share. Somebody was going to jump on when James was jumping on. Who was that? Anybody?
Nope.
Okay, so then let's get started. Thank you guys for sharing. So just be prepared to come back to calls and share some ideas, because people want to hear, maybe they heard the call and missed something, and you caught, you caught something that, then they're like, oh my goodness, maybe I have to go back and listen to that call again. So But thank you all for sharing. So now that you have some amazing selling skills under your belt, we're going to start sharing these great tips and ideas when you're at your show and while you're out and about. So the next thing we're going to talk about is bookings and prospecting. So it's super easy to share what you're so excited about once you're educated about it. Okay, I always tell my team, it's like, go back to when you were in school and you had show and tell, right? You were so excited about that gift that you got and you just wanted to show everybody it. And so that's what we have to do about our products. What are we excited about? These products are going to change people's lives, And did you all know that families who come together at the table and have meal times together, they do better on their SATs, they have better interviewing skills, they're less promiscuous, they're less apt to do drugs, smoke, or drink, somebody put it on my screen. I don't know who that was, but I did not put that big red line on my screen. Oh, thank you, whoever did that. All right. Okay, because it's all because they ate dinner together. Okay. And, I know, we have a great relationship with our boys. And it's nice to know that you can trust them when they're out and about. And, not saying my kids are perfect, but, I definitely can attest to some of the truth because we've always had meal times together. So when you know information like that, it's hard not to share that. It's our job. Ow! You share. Somebody has some background noise. If you can just mute yourself, please, because we are recording this call. So how does that make you feel that you have this opportunity to bring people together, bring families together around the table and make this impact on them in this way? How does that make you feel, knowing that you have that power to do that? Anybody feel good about that, knowing that you have that opportunity to do that?
It makes me excited about a future party that I'm getting ready to have.
Okay.
And to be able to share that information and the statistics behind it, it just seems that I know that this particular group of ladies are going to be intrigued by that, and that it's going to be something to build on the party and for future parties from bookings from that. So I'm excited about being able to share that.
Awesome. And another thing too, with the kids line of products too, we can tell them, kids in the kitchen, I think now I'm like, out of show mode here, but kids in the kitchen before the age of 8 are more likely to cook, 3 to 4 meals a week as an adult. So those are some other statistics that you can share with people. Those are really great things, especially if you have a crowd that has a lot of, little kids. And sometimes we have little kids at our party, so you can definitely know who has those kids and who doesn't. So it's easy to share when you're out and about. Okay. How many of you are wearing PC logo wear, carrying your PC tote, wearing a name bag, a badge? I've already, totally just forgot and left the party and wore my apron to the grocery store. Has anybody ever? Are you guys wearing PC logo? Or are you carrying your tote bags?
Lexi always forgets to take her apron off.
Okay, that's a good thing, right? Do you get you get conversations when you walk in a place with your apron on? Okay. And also, bringing, a cookbook, a recipe card with you, when you're when you're shopping, giving away recipe cards. You can actually, leave recipe cards where, in an aisle, when you go to the grocery store, you see how they're, leaving little coupons, when this is on sale and they're not using that coupon and they leave it, you can leave a recipe. So, maybe you can leave the recipe card for something with an ingredient that's on it and leave it there for someone to pick up, and it has your contact information on it. Okay. So, so when you're, looking for something, you can, start a conversation right there with that. Brownie, here we're giving the example when you're in the brownie aisle, you're carrying the Naughty Brownie recipe card and you're giving them away. Okay. So, how many of you feel uncomfortable doing that? Like you think we're crazy asking you to do something like that?
I don't think it's crazy, but are recipe cards more beneficial than maybe like a business card to you? Do you think? Sorry, they were wrong.
If you're just leaving it with somebody, if you're either way, if you're talking to someone or leaving with someone, most likely people are going to want to probably pick up a recipe card that's laying by a box of brownie mix versus, a business card. They might have just thought you just left it there. But if you're talking to someone and you're having that conversation, I don't think either way is wrong, because your recipe card's going to have your information. You definitely want to make sure your information is stamped on that recipe card before you give it out. I wouldn't just give out a plain recipe card without your information on it.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm going to invest in some of those then.
Yeah, it's really good. People like to get recipes, so it's kind of like a gift, okay?
Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
My only issue is that I went on Consultant Corner, and the only ones that I could find were for one thing that were like peach nachos. It seems like they're discontinuing a lot of the recipe cards.
Corey, since you're on, can you check that out for me? Because I haven't ordered them for a while. I have so many old ones. Can you look at that up for me and see what's out there?
Yeah, they only have a few on like the outlet stuff, but they are doing less and less of the recipe cards.
Okay.
So when
So what you could do is you could type up your own little postcards too.
Yep.
On the virtual parties, there's all kinds of little recipe ideas, with the product and the recipe on it. You could actually just take that image and make your own and leave those as well.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so we're not crazy when we tell you to do this, because there are people everywhere, and those people like to eat, right? Who goes an all day without eating, right? So, how many of you struggled with dinner before Pampered Chef? How many of you struggled, with like the tools in your kitchen? How many of you looked in your cupboard and said, oh my goodness, what am I going to feed my kids today? So there's so many other people that are in that same situation. So if you're not sharing, you're really being selfish and you're doing them a disservice. So we're not crazy when we're asking you, to do something like this. And I'm telling you, we'll talk a little bit more, but I'll give you some examples of things that have happened to me as well. All right. So what do you say? So you're like, okay, Dee, now you want me to go out there and you want me to talk to these total strangers, right? And then now what am I supposed to say to these people? So, I don't know how many of you shop at Aldi's. I'm a new Aldi person. Okay. I'm not fairly new within the past year. Everybody talks about Aldi. So, that is something that I'll go into Aldi's because we all know that there's some things you might like there and there's some things you don't like there. So if I see someone looking at something, I'll say, oh, do you, have you bought that, before? Do you like it? And getting a conversation going. So, that's usually how I approach things, and that's, I just bought my neighbor cheesecake there for her birthday because she loves cheesecake. And I wouldn't have known to buy the sample packet of cheesecake without asking someone, hey, do you like that? So, and then you get that conversation going, maybe you're picking up ingredients for a party or a new recipe, and you say, oh, because I'm trying to make this Pampered Chef recipe. Have you heard of the Pampered Chef? And what are they going to tell you when you say, have you heard of the Pampered Chef? Right? They're going to say, oh, I love Pampered Chef, right? So, so you can just say, hey, would you like a new product flyer? We just came out with a new fall line. Most people are going to say, oh, well, yeah, I'd love to see what your new products are. Okay. And so, I always make sure that, we have the handy dandy, the little, here's one that I have the thing on the back. So we have the mini catalogs that, that we're going to hand out to them. And you could put, I don't know, some of you may have seen this little sticker. Can you guys see that? I have this little sticker. It's from Vistaprint, and it's a little Post-it note that I put on the back of mine. So so then when I hand it to them and say, hey, it's my goal to hand out 10 of these a week, and then I'll put your name into a drawing for a prize. So that's something you can say so that you can get their information. You can, if you don't want to do a drawing, you could just say, would you be comfortable giving me your information, and so that I can follow up to see if there's any which products you fell in love with. Okay. So, but if they're giving your information, you're putting them in a drawing, or, maybe you can call them within the next 24 to 48 hours. Hey, we met at Aldi's. Did you have a chance to look at that mini Kellogg? What did you like about it? So then those are things that, they're going to like, oh my goodness, I love that fluted pan. And then you're going to talk about, hey, you know what? I would love to get that fluted pan for you for free. What do you think about hosting a party? Okay. So this is something that I like to carry. How many of you are carrying these, right? Because you're supposed to be handing out 10 a week, right? I can't see everybody's hands. I don't know why I can't get the whole view here, but maybe because I'm sharing my screen. So hopefully you're all raising your hand and you're using the mini Kellogg, okay? And it's very important that you follow up within 24 to 48 hours, because they're going to remember, oh my goodness, they remember that lady at Aldi. She's calling me. But after 48 hours, they might forget who you are and they lose that excitement. So you want to make sure that you're doing that within the 24 to 48 hours, all right? So maybe you're in the checkout line and, I know one time I was buying I was baking. So, when you have the flour, the sugar, the cake mixes, whatever you're buying, and she's like, wow, what are you making today? And then that's an in for you to say, oh my goodness, I'm making this new, recipe in the fluted pan. Have you heard of Pampered Chef? When was the last time you've seen a Kellogg? We just came out with the new fall line. Can I give you this the new mini Kellogg? And then if they have time, sometimes at the checkout, they don't have time to fill it out, but maybe they do. So maybe if they just give you their phone number real fast, that's something that you can write their information down. Okay. Now, if they really get excited about, if they're really excited at that time, don't be afraid to say, oh my goodness, I'd love to do a party with you. So I just went to Marshall's last week, and now I didn't ask for a booking, but this is the same way going into it. I actually asked for a recruit because the conversation went to work instead of products. So, but just starting that conversation, it's nothing more than a friendly conversation. When I was in Marshall's, I walked up to the checkout girl, and she had this really pretty scarf on. And I just loved the colors in it. And right away, it made me think of something that I owned. And I would have loved to have that scarf to match a sweater that I have. Someone has some background noise. If you can mute yourself, please. Maybe if you're on a phone, in a car. Okay, thank you. So when I went up to her and I'm like, oh my goodness, I love your scarf. By any chance, did you get it here? And of course, no, she didn't. And she's like, I got it at my second job. And so right there led me, and she now worked at Marshall's, and she also worked at Kohl's, and she wasn't happy with Kohl's. So that led me to a recruiting conversation, but that's another training down the road. But do you see, just having that friendly conversation with someone, maybe paying them a compliment when you're walking up to them. If it's anything that you can tie your, that you can bring your job into it, it's always a good way. But just starting a friendly conversation, and then it will lead to business for you. So when you're out and about, always be prepared with your 20-second commercial. Anybody have a 20-second commercial they already use that they want to share? Does anybody not know what a 20-second commercial is?
I don't know.
Okay, who was that?
Kristen?
Lexi.
Okay, so a 20-second commercial is just something really quick. So when someone says, what do you do? Then you're going to come back, and you're not going to say, I'm a Pampered Chef consultant. How many of you just say, I'm a Pampered Chef consultant?
I do.
Okay, so you might want to change that up a little bit. You're not just a Pampered Chef. You can say, I help create meal. Someone has.
All right, so food. So like Sue was mentioning, theme parties sell. We can do fajitas and margaritas, soup and flippers, salad and sangrias, wine, cheese, and chocolate is a huge cooking party for me. Big team. A lot of people love that. Super wrong with wine, cheese, and chocolate.
Is that
brunch party? You might have. This is something that I like to really point out. You may have to go at your calendar and say, all right, my daughter has a birthday party.
I think somebody's not on our call.
Fine, you only need 2 hours.
I think that's Kim Hogan on her other
3 hours.
call.
Oh no! If anybody
Kim
has
Hogan
Kim's
on her
number,
other.
is that her?
session.
Okay, she's training.
Yeah, I'll message her.
If you can message her, that
Yeah, I'll
would
do
wait a
that.
minute. Wait, this is so off topic. All right, thank you,
I
Christina.
think that you are able to mute everyone.
If I am, I don't know where can mute everybody.
You can hit mute all under manage participants.
For some reason, now that I'm sharing my screen, I can't see any of that. Let me,
Who is?
and then,
On the other call, they're saying I'm not needed on call 6. Who is it that's supposed to be, hold on, I went on, hold on.
somebody said, oh, sorry guys, I think they got the word out. So, all right, I think we're good now. All right, thank you. All right, so a 20-second commercial is something that you want to come back and let people know what you do other than you're just a Pampered Chef consultant. It's just another creative way. So here's some ideas that you can say. I help create mealtime memories with quality tools and tasty recipes. I show busy families how to get dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes. I help people realize that cooking can be fun when you have the right tools. I help people discover their inner Rachel Ray. All of these are designed for people to then ask you a little bit more about what you do, you know, and then that's when you can lead in and say, oh, I'm the Pampered Chef. Have you ever heard of the Pampered Chef? And again, we had talked about this earlier. What are they going to say? 99% of the time, they're going to say, I love Pampered Chef, right? And, you know, Jennifer Courtney created these slides. So, you know, of course she put in there, so I'm glad you're not a lawyer, right? Because people are going to say, oh, you're a lawyer. You know, hopefully we never in our life need an attorney for something major. But, you know, so let's go back to this, you know, 20-second commercial. Now, was there anyone in particular that caught your eye, or have you thought of something else while we're going through the 20-second commercial that you would like to be your 20-second commercial?
I like I show busy families how to get dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes because I'm a sports mom.
Okay.
So I'm excited because I'm going to start doing those one-pot meals. I love to cook, don't get me wrong. But man, if you're a sports mom or in dance or whatever, you're constantly on the move. And I just think that would attract a lot of people.
Absolutely. You know, and another thing too, you know, that rock crock too, you know, for busy moms, the rock crock in the, you know, the rock, turning it into a crock pot too. I remember those days, the busy mom days of running kids everywhere. So think about the 20-second commercial that you want to, you know, incorporate into your business as well. And it's just going to lead you on to that conversation. Oh, what do you do? You know, and then you're going to say you're a Pampered Chef consultant. All right. So now that we've prospected all over the place, you know, let's talk about bookings at your parties. Oh, let's go back. Does anybody have any questions about prospecting when you're out and about? Has anybody actually prospected and turned it into a conversation and got a booking?
I actually just did.
Okay. What did you do?
I had an event, a vendor event at a craft kind of, it had a whole bunch of different vendors, but it was mostly for crafts. And there were a lot of people there looking to try foods. So when I made food in a brownie pan, and that helped a lot. And then I'm pregnant, and it's very noticeable because I'm almost ready to pop. And they would ask me like, how's this going to benefit you? You know, you're doing a business and you're pregnant, so doesn't that take a lot of your time? And I told them that it just gave me more motivation to want to cook faster, knowing that's going to be another responsibility. And then I had moms come up to me after that. So
awesome. You know, and another, you know, you can say, well, you know, how can you do this and, you know, be a busy mom and be pregnant at the same time too? And, you know, and don't forget, we do the virtual parties as well. So, you know, people that can't be out doing live cooking parties, you know, we got to make sure that we're talking about catalog parties, virtual parties, fundraisers, and things like that. So it's not all, when we're out prospecting, it's not all about just getting the cooking shows. We have other things to offer too. And just, to go back a little bit more about prospecting, we talked about the grocery store and things like that. And, I talked about Marshalls, but don't forget, how many of you go to the bank, and how many of you are driving through the drive-through all the time at the bank? Or you're going to McDonald's or wherever, and you're going through the drive-through. If you have your PC logo wear on your PC shirt, your tote bag, going into these places and getting that conversation going, because sometimes it's hard to if you're just going through the bank and you're putting your thing through the tube and it's going up, they're like, hey, how are you? And then they come back, thank you, and that's probably the end of your conversation. Where if you're at the bank and you're at the teller, you're able to carry on a conversation. You're able to hand them that mini catalog that we had talked about earlier, get their contact information, and follow up from there. Okay?
I have a question. I went on Jennifer's. She's kind of doing something like this, but it's a virtual post. So it's automatic. And she mentioned Facebook swap and sell for Pampered Chef, like tote bags and logos. Do you recommend that, or?
Tell me that a little bit more. She was saying to how to get the logo wear and things.
Yeah, she gave an alternative way to get it. So, there's a swap and sell for used items. So, used tote bags and used logos, like shirts and hats and stuff like that. And I requested to join, so I haven't gotten to look at it yet. But
okay, I guess I did know there was something out there, and I totally forgot about that. But yeah, absolutely. Anywhere that you can get logo wear. And of course, on the Pampered Chef website, we have the PC gear right now going. I don't know if Merle's still out there, if it's over, but we definitely have the PC gear out there. So that's, that's a place that if you're not familiar with, on our Pampered Chef website under I don't know the tab. Susan or Cora, do you know what the tab is called? But it's under the I think Business Center, maybe under Pampered Perks, and then it's the PC gear. So I think that's where it's at. So you can definitely look there. But I'm sure if you're looking on one of these swap lines, you can definitely probably maybe find something at a discount as well. All right.
Okay.
All right. So our magic number is 2, right? How many bookings do we want from every party that we do? At least 2. And why do we want 2? Because we want to replace the one we just did, and then we want one to build our business. Okay? And so if is anybody on here that's strictly, I can't see everybody, but is anybody on here strictly doing virtual parties? Laura, you're just virtual? Okay, so, I know we're talking about live cooking parties today.
I'm just virtual, by the way.
Okay, so you're just virtual too. So obviously at your, on your virtual parties, you want to get the same. You want to get 2 bookings on your virtual parties too. Now we say add catalog and virtual parties are gravy to your paycheck, but in your case, we do know that you're virtual consultants, and those 2 bookings are your business. So you want to try to be getting at least 2 bookings at every one of your parties, and those bookings will not be gravy for you. For those of us who do live parties, we love the virtual parties and the catalog parties because that is just like extra for us. But for those of you running the virtual business, you also want to do the same thing. And a lot of things that we're saying, you can be saying that on your virtual parties as well. So when you're out and about, you're going to be telling them that you do virtual parties. So I apologize. I should have asked that question early on in the training. So in order to get bookings at your parties, you get 2 bookings at every party. Here's some things that we want to talk about. So I'll try to remember to incorporate virtuals in here as well. So you want to host coach effectively. And this is for both cooking parties and virtual parties. And we're not going to go into detail about host coaching today because that's going to be training next week. So make sure that you are effectively host coaching because that is key. We always say, host coaching is where you make your money and the show is where you pick up your paycheck. All right. Show up on time. So virtual parties, make sure if you say they're going to start on a Friday, they start on a Friday. For those of us consultants going to a live cooking party, I still get to my party 45 minutes ahead of time to get my prep work done. So I am ready. If someone is coming early, I want to be ready and I want to be greeting the guests when they walk in the door. Making sure your dishes are clean. Some of us consultants have our host or a guest at our party wash our dishes, and sometimes they don't do a very good job of cleaning them all the time. So when you're repacking things for your party, you do want to make sure that they are clean. It is embarrassing. I've had it happen to me once that something was not clean, and so you just kind of try to sneak off to the side and get it washed before anybody notices. So make sure that you're dressed appropriately. Even if you're going live on your virtual parties, you want to make sure that you look presentable, that you're not like your hair's all a mess, and just make sure you're presentable when you're going live too, so that you can make a good impression. Making sure that you smell good. Some of us, maybe, you were rushing or around, you forgot to put your deodorant on. I've actually had that happen to me. Like I'm leaving for my party. I actually had to stop at a store and buy deodorant, and now I keep it in my car. It's only happened to me once, but I would never go to a party thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't put deodorant on. So, talking about the higher priced products, on your virtual parties as well. You want to be, and someone had mentioned earlier, I forget who it was, about falling in love with your products, and you want to fall in love with the higher priced products as well. Making sure your hosts feel special, as thanking her in front of the guests, maybe even giving her, I like to give her the season's best. I like to pass around the season's best ahead of time, have everybody write a little note inside, just making her feel special and appreciated, sending her a thank you after the party's over, both virtually and live cooking parties. Going over your bookings in your intro. You want to be mentioning bookings at least 3 times throughout the party. So in your intro, at your closing, Jennifer has on here, if you use her script, she has booking lines built in. And then on virtual parties, how many times are you mentioning bookings in your virtual parties? You want to be making sure that, that is mentioned in your virtual parties throughout the party as well. Using the door price slip at the end. That is key, I feel, getting information from them and not just handing them out. And you don't want to hand them out at the beginning of the party because, people are just going to fill them out before they even get started. And then they may put no to everything before they even get to know you. So I think on virtual parties, a lot of people are doing the Google surveys as well. You can do that, but walk them through at a live party, the first, put your name on there, wait for them to put their name on it. I don't make them put their address. I just make them put their phone number and email address. Now with that, we do express party checkout. I don't need all that information. Normally what I would do, if they're not using express party checkout, then I would at least get their email address so I can have those, sitting there without a customer, I can enter that into my app before they come to checkout, so it makes checkout go faster. Do the 3-PAL checkout. Is everybody familiar with the 3-PAL checkout at a live party? So the 3-PAL checkout is you want to have recruiting information, booking information, and then a recipe to hand out. And that's probably going to be covered on later on in one of the topics coming up, but that's kind of like the full service checkout. If they say no to a cooking party, then you're going to ask for a virtual party. Don't be afraid to ask for referrals. On the virtual parties too, you can ask for referrals on there. Turn your host into a booking agent for you. Okay. They're going to get 50% off item at every party that they get a booking. Offer an incentive. Is anybody offering incentives to their host? Laura's shaking her head yes. I can only see Laura and the other two are with. So Laura, do you mind coming on and sharing what you offer? Because you're a virtual consultant.
When I offer an incentive, I usually say the first 2 to 3 people to book will get a free gift from me. And I'll give them something like I'm offering right now a free fall product. So I would give them maybe like the candy molds or something that's not overly expensive, but something that they would love.
Okay.
As a thank you for hosting and getting me bookings as well.
Okay, perfect. So offering to bring the ingredients, anything like that, anything that you can think of to get them. Sometimes people offer the host a gift. If she gets 3 bookings, she gets a gift. I like to, for those of you doing live parties, the now or later bag. So you have a goodie inside the bag and this is something you can go live on your virtual parties too and say, hey, I'll send you the goodie inside the bag, and you can pick the product. Then at your party, you get the product on the outside of the bag. So you can do that as well. So know about your products. I'm looking at the time and I'm running late. So I'm going to go here quickly through these. You guys can screenshot these, but know about your products when you're doing the demo to create interest in the booking. Smile a lot. When you're smiling, when you're having fun, they're having fun, they're going to want to have a party with you. Have your calendar ready. Know what your next available dates are. I don't know, virtual parties usually, I don't know about you, but I know I start mine like on Friday. So I have September 1st, September 8th, September 15th. So I know those party dates, but, I don't always know all my dates in the month, but I at least know my next available date. So know those, be prepared so that nothing sneaks up on you and you're ready to go. All right. So start saying on the way to every party, start saying on every one of your virtual parties that I'm getting 2 bookings here today. I'm going to get 2 bookings on this virtual party. I'm going to get 2 bookings. Who I know I'm going to find 2 people at this party. I'm a booking magnet. Everybody wants to book with me, right? That's what you want to be saying to yourself, because what you say to yourself is what's going to happen. Stop saying I wish, start saying I will, okay? Stop saying I hope I get a booking tonight. I'm going to get a booking tonight, all right? So last week we discussed our belief system, and I challenge you to strengthen that system as you're moving forward, okay? Because your belief is going to really help you in all aspects of your business, okay? So you want to believe in the products, you want to believe in the bookings, you want to believe in the recruit, all right? The opportunity to purchase the book a show, and the opportunity to join, okay? You can say, I'm one of the fastest growing teams. When you wake up, the first thing you should be thinking about, whose life am I going to change today? Whether it's teaching them how to put meals on the table, whether it's changing them financially by doing this business. All right. And this week, I want you to look at the passion behind the company's booking opportunity. You have to believe that we have the best thing ever and be so compassionate about it that you can't help but book a ton of parties. Because if you have that passion, people are going to see that. They're going to want to book with you, okay? When people ask me, when you give them an opportunity at the end of the party, do you love what you do? They don't even have to ask, they kind of chuckle when they ask me that, and I'm like, what do you think? Seriously, it shows that I love what I do. And same thing with your products. If you love it, they're going to love it, okay? So, and when you're having fun and when you're in love with it, they're going to want, oh my goodness, I'm going to want to have a party with her. Okay. So here we go again. Are you passionate about your products? Are you passionate about booking shows? Are you passionate about sharing our business opportunity? Whether you are or you're not, it's going to show. And just to give you an example, my son's struggling with something with football, and he's like, but I don't let them know. I'm like, no, they do know, because they can see it on your face. You don't think you're showing it, but they see it. Okay. So just remember that if you have that doubt, people are going to see that on your face. All right. So if you do not feel passionate, how can you find that passion again? We just came back from national conference. Who was at national conference in August? Yay! Put it on your calendar for next year. Okay, we're going back in August again next year. That is a great way to feel passionate again, boost your business. Going through the the PCU again, watching these YouTube videos, doing the homework that we're telling you to do. I hope you're all going to your team meetings, because that gives you the best boost that you can get once a month. That gives you that little shot, the little perk to pick you back up if you're having a bad time. Listening to training calls, finding a batter buddy, a great way to find a batter buddy. Find someone on here. You all see each other on the screen. Friend each other and say, hey, maybe they said something that you like. Connect with them. At your meetings, find someone that you're compatible with. Find a fair booth. This is a great time to find vendor events with the holidays coming up. If your director offers recipe night, go there. All right. Find a PC mentor. You know, if you're a consultant, you want to be a director, reach out to a director, find out what they're doing so that you can be like them. All right. Any questions for me tonight? I know I rushed it at the end, but I like interaction, so it took a little bit longer. Any questions? All right, so I will be posting the homework link. Did someone come on with a question? Okay, so we're going to be talking, your homework this week is going to be listening to Abundant Bookings with Susan Morshey, yay, who's on our training. She's one of our leaders on our training, as well as Missy Eltz. So I will go ahead and post the link after we're done with the call here tonight so that you all know your homework. And then you will be having your call with your director who invited you to this call. So, you know, these are some of the questions that they'll be asking you this week. How many shows were you going to commit to booking this week? How many out and abouts will you commit to this week? So make sure that you're setting up that call with your recruiter to discuss it. And then they're going to be asking you, how many leads did you get? How many bookings did you get? What were your sales? What did you have trouble with? And of course, you know, we want to help you with the problems that you're struggling with. So we're going to ask you that question, but we also want to brag. We want to know what's happening good with you this week as well. So we want to share that with you and celebrate that success with you. So if we don't have any more questions, a big thank you so much for attending, being part of the second call with us. If you have any questions afterwards, please post them to the event and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.